Ja, publiken har växt till sig här på bokmässan framför P4 Extra scen. Europas största schlagerdrottning är med oss nu, Conchita Wurst. En stor applåd tycker jag.
Thank you very much.
You had no idea what I said. I'll translate later.
I understood everything.
Yeah.
My Swedish is actually perfect now.
Så här är det. Conchita Wursts självbiografi kommer nu på svenska. Om uppväxten i Österrike, om trakasserier, om att förverkliga sina drömmar. You're very welcome here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And you must be the most well-dressed writer here in this fair now.
Oh, I don't think so. I dressed very comfy actually, because I thought, now that I'm a writer, I have to be very sophisticated. And no, I just...
Black is always a good color to go.
Exactly.
You're here to talk about your book, and it's actually an autobiography, even though you're so young. You're 26 years old.
Well, listen, exactly, and here's the problem. Well, it's not really a problem, but at the beginning, a publisher asked me if I want to release a book about my life. And I said, well, that's a nice idea, but no, thank you. Because, I'm 26, and that's quite early to talk about your long life and your experiences. But they forced me to think about it, and I did, and I said, well, if we want to release a book together, it needs to be a book that I'm interested in as well. And I love books featuring many pictures. And this is what I did. I'm a very visual person, and I glued the pictures together with those little stories of my life.
I'll just translate. Conchita berättar här, jag frågar, du är ju så himla ung, 26 år bara, och ändå så skriver du en självbiografi. Då sa hon att hon fick en frågan av ett förlag som då i sin tur tyckte att hon kunde vaska fram lite historier, och hon jobbade väldigt visuellt med det här då, klistrade bilder för att få ihop en sammanhängande historia. And writing this book, what has been the most difficult thing?
Well, what was difficult? First of all, it's not that easy to talk about your life in such an intimate way. And obviously there were times in my life that were a bit more tough than others. And especially my teenage years. But, when it comes to that point, I always love to say that, being a teenager itself is just not fun.
No.
Everyone got their issues and everyone got their things they have to learn and go through. And in my case, it was just, I found out that all the other boys were not that much into boys as I am. And I thought basically that there is something wrong with me and this is a mistake. And it took a while till I found out that the society is wrong on this issue and it's not me who's making a mistake.
And what made you come to that conclusion? There's the society's, there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah. Well, my parents raised me and my brother in a very liberal way and a very open-minded way. But it's Austria, and especially the village I lived in, it was a very highly Catholic, very religious. So you get confronted with the Catholic way of thinking quite often. And my parents didn't have a problem with a gay son, but it was also not, they didn't really thought about it. If one of the boys would be gay, and then it happened, and they were, it was not a surprise, let's put it that way. But it was kind of tough for them as well. But we figured it out, and now we are best friends.
Conchita berättar här att ett av de svårare kapitlen att skriva var den som handlade om uppväxten, om tonåren. Tonåren är svårare för alla, men för henne var det extra svårt. Kom på att hon tycker om pojkar men fann stöd, ska vi säga, hos sina föräldrar, för de var det också nytt, uppvuxen i det här väldigt katolska samhället i Österrike, en liten by, en liten stad, så hennes föräldrar har ändå varit ett stort stöd under den här tiden. Yeah, let's talk about more about this village you come from, because I'm also from a very small village, and you write about that in the book actually, that this can be some kind of inspiration coming from a small place. Can you talk more about that?
Yes. Well, I really do separate my teenage years from my early childhood time, because I had the most fabulous childhood you could ever imagine. I mean, I had the mountains, and there were cows and chickens and stuff, you know, and we're just playing around and really had like the best time ever. My parents do have a little hotel, so I also got like a whole menu card each and every day where I can choose my dinner. So that was nice.
Wonderful.
For a kid, it was perfect. And even now, I really got inspired by this place, you know, because I think for me, especially these small villages, they have something magical in it, you know, probably because there is so much, you know, how can I say, prejudice and as I said, the Catholic and religious thing, that people who are thinking different are even more creative. Because, you know, they have to find a way how to be themselves without really bothering somebody else. And this is what I did as well. I created my little green, how can I say, my little green fairy tale world in the attic of our house. And, you know, up there I could be whoever I want to be. And this is also the time when I experienced that I actually able to sing. Yeah.
Conchita berättar att komma ifrån ett väldigt litet samhälle kan också vara väldigt, liksom det drar igång kreativiteten, det får en liksom att uppfinna nya världar och på något sätt komma runt saker som är invanda. Så det har på något sätt gjort henne väldigt kreativ. Yes, something like that.
Exactly what she said.
And Conchita, in May 2014, Conchita was introduced to Europe for the first time, for the first TV audience. Did she have any idea what was ahead of her?
Well, you know, I started doing drag when I was about 14. But not really in a regular way. And it was in 2011 when I got the opportunity to host a burlesque show week by week. So I started doing like drag in a regular way, and I thought, okay, I don't like my face without the beard, so I'm just gonna be the bearded lady. And it became and grew bigger quite fast because it was something new. And I participated the first time for Eurovision in 2012. And I finished second back then in the national finals. And, you know, but Eurovision, I'm still a huge Eurovision fan. I think even more now. But, and I always wanted to be part of it.
Yeah.
And so I participated a second time, and it went quite well.
It did. You could, you know. We will continue talking to you in a while, but first let's listen to you.
Oh, thanks.
Rise like a phoenix. My producer almost applauded. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And how does this song make you feel 1.5 years after?
Isn't that the new James Bond song? No, it's not.
Could be.
I still love it. You know, people tend to ask me if I'm bothered because everybody wants to sing. I love this song. I really do love this song. There's a little story when it comes to Eurovision, and if you ever get the chance to participate in Eurovision, you have to concentrate on one thing. There is a deadline in the middle of March, and then you have to release your song. And in this situation, we are now 4 weeks before this deadline, and I had 5 songs. And one of those 5 songs should be like the song for Conchita and for Austria and stuff. And on this day, I received Rise Like a Phoenix. And then I said, okay, I'm sorry. I know we have 5 well produced and ready, but we have to start all over again. And this is what we did. And here I am sitting. And
it was so clear for you that this is the song.
Exactly.
That's great. Conchita, you've not only been traveling around the world since the victory in the Eurovision Song Contest, but you also, for example, performed at the EU Parliament, speaking in many different occasions about fighting discrimination and equal rights. Why is that something important to you to do?
It is important because I grew up, and I think it comes out in the book also quite nice. I grew up as a very self-confident kid, and I was raised by my parents by simple rules, by being respectful and not hurting anyone. And each and every time someone in my surrounding broke these rules, I would stand up and say, hey, you're gonna apologize to her, this is not okay. And this just went on, and now, you know, as a person in the public eye, you got the opportunity to meet so many people through one interview, through one camera. And for me personally, I just don't want to miss out these moments where I try to say something meaningful, because we are living in a society where, you know, humanity and being respectful with one and each other is just so important. And so yeah, I will keep on talk about that.
Yeah. Jag frågade Conchita, ända sedan segern i Eurovision så har hon också i olika sammanhang pratat, bland annat inför EU-parlamentet, om mänskliga rättigheter och diskriminering, och jag frågar varför hon tycker att det är så viktigt liksom, att använda sitt kändisskap till detta. Då säger hon att hon alltid har varit någon som har haft självförtroende och stå upp för andra, och att hon också känner att hon vill använda den här uppmärksamheten som hon har, de här ögonblicken i tv eller radio, till någonting meningsfullt helt enkelt. And next week you're performing also at the Solidarity concert, Voices for Refugees. And talking about that, what's your view on the situation right now in Europe regarding how we treat and welcome refugees here?
Well, obviously it's a very tense situation, and it's a huge movement. And you know, we in Austria, I think it was so beautiful to see that so many people, you know, and not the politicians, unfortunately, but so many people from the public helped, you know, those people who had to move from their home and find a new one. And I think it was just so important to help. But, you know, I was sitting at home and I thought, okay, what can I do? What is my point? What should Conchita do or say? And I kept thinking about it, and it was just so tough, because there was no chance for me to go to the stations where the refugees arrived, because, you know, there would be more media than helping, and it was just a difficult situation. And I thought, okay, I think the best thing everybody should do is do what you can do the best. And this, you know, we as an artist, we can sing, and we hopefully raise money, a lot of money for those people. And this is what we're going to do on next Saturday.
Conchita kommer vara med vid en välgörenhetskonsert i Österrike nästa vecka i förmån för flyktingar som kommer. Jag frågade henne vad hon tycker, hur hon ser på mottagandet av flyktingar i Europa just nu. Hon tycker att hon blir rörd och varm av att se hur den österrikiska befolkningen till stor del har välkomnat och engagerat sig i mottagandet. Besviken dock på politikerna som hon inte tycker tar det ansvaret som de borde. Och hon tycker att sjunga och uppträda är hennes sätt att bidra till välkomnandet och samla in pengar då, som den här konserten ska gå till. So Conchita, thank you so much for coming and being a guest in P4 Extra.
Thank you for having
honored.
me.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Yes, I think so.
That went by too fast. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Conchita.
Have a nice
and good
day.
luck.
Thank you so much.